Hi everybody, this is Vex here, and I've got a little tutorial to show you guys how to get a more detailed party sheet campsite marching order area. As you can see, I built a little campsite here, and I did not draw this by hand. That is an important part because most of us, like myself, are not that artistic. I cannot draw. I mean, maybe if I had a pen in my hand and you gave me an hour and a half or like 20 pieces of paper so I could screw up. I could get close to this. Maybe if I could trace it. I am that bad of an artist. I know I make a lot of maps. I use tools to make those maps. I use other people's assets that I have permission to use, either for commercial use or I use programs that where the personal use is built in. Um, so I'm going to show you how to do this, and it's really not that hard. It just requires a little bit of file manipulation and a little bit of skill with um, some art programs, but not a whole lot. So to show you how I got this result, I'm going to go ahead and erase this so that I can show you from the beginning. The first step in doing this, though, is going to be creating a table. So as you can see, I don't have any extensions running right now. I think I might have the monster manual loaded because I wanted to show some monsters here at the end so that I can show you what you can do with this. Um, and I have one character loaded from one of my games, but this is a fresh table. If it is a fresh table, when you load it, you do need to draw something in here. If it's not a fresh table, I would suggest when you draw something in here, it is um, highly recognizable so you can easily see it. So what I'm going to do is show you an example of that. I'm just going to draw a little smiley face. You can see I am not a great artist. That guy's got a funky eye and a funky smile. That is just sad. Teardrop. Okay, and as you can see, you've got this. This is recognizable. You would notice this drawing as opposed to any other drawings that you might have. So the next step is to save and exit. So you can just do that with a /save and then exit back to the launcher. And now I want to show you how to find that file. So we're going to open up our uh, data folder, which is right there. And we're going to go into campaigns, and the name of that campaign was test drawings. Now, when you save and exit, it will make a drawings subfolder if it doesn't already have one from previous use. In this drawing subfolder, I'm only going to have one drawing, but if it's an ongoing campaign where you've been drawing a lot and stuff on maps, there might be a lot of drawings. So you got to find the one that looks like the one that you just made. So obviously that's ours. So we found it, but we want to replace it. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can do this. It has to be a 500 by 500 pixel PNG file. That's important. It has to be a PNG. And it's actually a mask, a grayscale mask. It won't pick up any colors or anything like that. You need grayscale. It needs to be fade from black to white, that kind of an image. And it's a mask, which means it's like a photo negative. So that's important to remember as we do this. So I've already got Dungeon Painter Studio up over here, and I'll center that so you're just paying attention to that. Dungeon Painter Studio, I think, costs about $20 or $25 on Steam. There are lots of other asset programs and stuff that you can use. You can always get GIMP and just download assets and find them if that's what you're looking for. The 2-minute tabletop assets I really like by Ross. He has a Patreon 2-minute tabletop and he also has a website. I believe almost all of his assets are free. His maps that he puts together and does by hand, those he charges for, but he is very, very reasonable. Most of his maps are only $1 or $2, so it's worth checking out his website. He's a really good guy, very helpful. So I've got some camp stuff down here that is from one of his asset packs, which I used for that first image. Now with DPS, this is an interesting thing that I figured out. If you just use the assets as is with the object tool here, and put them in and do a 5 by 5 that's 500 by 500 pixels when we output it, everything will be really big, like giant sized. It's just too big. So the way you have to do this is you have to lock the scale at 50%, and then I don't like the grid for this. I'm just gonna put that in the center, and then let's see, where was I want to do the stumps and stuff first. Okay, and I'm gonna do random angle so it looks a little randomized. Zoom in a little bit, and we'll put these a little close to the fire as if people use them for sitting. Get a couple of different ones, maybe a log. Hey, that lined up perfectly for random. And then we're gonna put some bedrolls in, again, randomly angled. And we'll do 4 of these since, okay, well that one doesn't want to line up the way I want it. There we go. Since the average party size is 4, a lot of people think the ideal party size is 4. I am going to switch back to stick to grid because I'm going to put some boxes here. And this is just because sometimes DPS, when you export, it doesn't want to pick up the whole image. It only wants to pick up part of it. So we are going to export to PNG here. I'm going to get rid of the coordinates, get rid of the grid, and then I'm going to move these in because I put them there just so it would. That's the area that's going to get exported. All this other stuff is not going to be there. So just the center. And you'll notice it right now, it's 350 by 350. We're going to click Fantasy Grounds, which turns it to 500 by 500. We're leaving the transparent background for now. And we're going to click Create PNG. And it's taking its time. I don't know why. There we go. And yeah, we'll just save it to pictures. And I'm actually going to call this map 2 because I already have another one that I did. And we're done with Dungeon Painter Studio, so we can close that. Now, I'm going to load up map 2 that we just made in Photoshop. Now, you can use anything, any advanced art program. I know you can do this in GIMP. I just don't know how to use GIMP very well. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that you can see the image better. You can see it's got color. It does have a transparent background. That's what the little hash mark background indicates. I know you can do this in GIMP. I just don't know the steps for it. If someone out there wants to point out the steps in the comments of this video, that would be great. I do not use GIMP. However, so because this is a mask image and it needs to be grayscale, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to mode and we're going to go to grayscale mode. Now, I'm using Photoshop Elements, so some of the commands are slightly different if you have the full Photoshop or if you have a different version of Photoshop. But yeah, you want to change the image type to grayscale, and there's always a different way to do that no matter what program you're using. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the background as white. And the reason we're going to do that is because we're going to flip the mask. We're going to invert it like it's a photo negative, and everything's going to go to the opposite end of the spectrum. So the way you do that in Elements is you go to Filter, Adjustments, and Invert, or just Control I. If you have full Photoshop, I believe the adjustments is under the image. I think it's in here somewhere. I think instead of filter adjustments, I think it's image adjustments. But this is all you have to do to be done with this, and then you just need to save it as a PNG. I'm gonna go ahead and use the save for web just because I like to be able to see. Yes, I verified. Yes, it's 500 by 500. I'm using PNG for 24. You don't need the transparency, but I'm just gonna leave it there, and then I'm gonna save it, and then we're done over here with Photoshop. I don't need to save the changes. Okay, as you can see, we've still got drawing 2 here. So what I'm going to do is copy map 2 over in, this is the one we just did, and as you can see, it is black and white, and it looks reversed from how it should look, but we're going to fix that. And then what you have to do to get it to work, you need to edit this file name and copy it exactly. I'm using Control C to copy it. And then you got to delete this file. and then you rename the new one. And now, when we load up our campaign, it should be changed to this image, although it should be reversed because it's a mask. And we'll go into party sheet, order, and there it is. And now, the reason I really like this is because instead of the horrible hand drawings, you could actually use this for quick overnight encounters when you roll and the party gets attacked by some goblins or something. So that's actually what I've set up. I'm going to assume Valda's on watch here, and I'm going to show you that even if I bring up the combat tracker, I can drag these goblins in, and you'll see they're invisible. The players would not see them. And then I could literally lock the tokens here, just like normal. And then I can reveal the tokens and tell Valda, oh, while you're on watch, 3 goblins attack, and then I could have Valda roll for initiative, and she rolled lower than the goblins did, so the goblins would go first, and they're gonna shoot short bows at Valda. Oh, it looks like dragging and dropping in that window doesn't work. Nope, that's unfortunate. Although you can still control click, I believe. Yeah, you can still target. So the short bow and okay, I rolled the short bow. It shows it targeting it, but it's not actually targeting it. That's interesting. See, I haven't used this enough. I know I can target. You can target this way though. Yep, now it's targeting her. So you might have to use the combat tracker for targeting, or you can drag and drop. I'm sure that still works. Yep, that hit. So Valda gets hit, and this goblin shoots and then moves in closer. Oh, does that not work? Let's try that again. Confirm movement. There, it worked that time. Weird. And we'll assume that the other ones shoot at her, and then Goblin, and then Valda, which is an 11th level character, is going to just decimate all 3. I'm sure with Eldritch blasts. Oh, I don't think the dragging and dropping worked. Oh, see now weird. That's weird. The dragging and dropping did work there. I don't know what I did differently. Maybe because I dragged Valda in here from the watch order. Let me delete and drag her in from the combat tracker. And then, okay. I'm just going to assume that Valda missed 3 times somehow, because I want to see if this works. Aha! So that's the difference. You can't drag them in from the watch order. You have to drag them in from the combat tracker, which I should have already known. But, as you can see, you can now use this map. The only unfortunate thing is you can't have color. It has to be all black and white. But this is still really good for March order. You could have multiple files set up, multiple drawings, and you can have them even ready here in your drawings folder. Just like you might have one that is in a dungeon room, so that the party can explain where they're sitting in relation to the door and stuff like that. There's a lot of different things you could do with this. But I found this really interesting, and I think it's useful. So I just wanted to share it and share how I did it so that other people can use it. Have a great day.